Hi class, this is the video feedback for the Chapter 1 quiz. Follow the same format as the preliminary chapter video if you saw that one. I'm just going to kind of go through the quiz and give you some feedback on sections, particularly sections that were challenging or problematic. If I ever don't cover anything in this that you do a question about, please let me know. I will be happy to give you additional feedback. All right, so the first section here is culture, and it's a multiple choice, and of course you can find all this in the chapter very easily, so there weren't too many problems about that. Then we have vocabulary. First is a drop-down menu of verbs, and then you just have to listen to match each of the places you hear with an activity that is likely to take place there. Not too many problems with that one. Let's just do one. Better with sound.
La biblioteca.
La biblioteca. So maybe the best one would be buscar libros. Yeah.
La cafetería.
La cafeteria, probably. Let's see, what's the best one? La cafeteria. Comer, probably. Okay, and so no, not too many problems on those. All right. And then the following is a list of typical students' books. What classes is he, she, or he taking? Write the name of the subject next to each book title. So, literatura, probably, for Don Quixote. That was a cultural reference in our chapter. España entre 1939 y 1975. Historia, and so on. Okay. I don't recall there being too many problems with that. Sometimes though people would misspell, have typos rather. So watch out for the typos because it will count that wrong. Okay, then complete the conversation between two college friends with words from the list. Be sure to write the appropriate forms of the adjectives. This got some people, as you know, compañero or compañera, male or female, estudioso or estudiosa. If it's a male, it's estudioso. If it's a female, estudiosa. Interesante, it only has one form. It ends in an E, so that's just male or female. It's just the one form. Same thing with difícil. Ends in a consonant, so that only has one form. But the forms that do have a masculine and feminine, you had to put the appropriate one. So, hola Carlos, ¿qué tal su clase de economía? Muy bien, la clase es muy, well, I think interesante is probably the best one there. ¿Y sacas buenas notas en economía? Do you get good grades in economics? So, sí, soy muy estudioso, says Carlos. Estudio todos los días. Okay. And your statistics class? I get bad grades. Es una clase probably difícil is the best one there. Okay, don't forget your accent marks as well. Que lástima, mi blank también toma la clase de estadística. So probably compañera or compañera. It doesn't really say which one, but probably compañera since that's a woman. Probably her roommate's a girl as well. Okay, Tanya. Yeah, Shiga, there's confirmed there. Ella saca buenas notas siempre. She always gets good grades. Es su clase favorita. And clase happens to be feminine, so favorita has to agree with clase. Okay. Qué increíble, tu clase de informática es grande and your computer class is big. So no, la clase es, what's the best one? Pequeña. And again, pequeña because clase is feminine. So it has to agree. So no, la clase es pequeña, there's only 10 students. All right, so there you go. By process of elimination too, if you're not sure about one, as you go through and fill out the rest, you can probably figure it out. But that's a bit of a challenging dialogue, actually, especially with the forms that you have to change. Okay, then going on, ¿qué haces? Listening. So you listen to the following list of places and write activities that you are most likely to do at each location. So I was pretty lenient here. There weren't too many problems. As long as it was reasonably logical, you got points there for that one. All right, and then choose the appropriate form of the verb to complete the following statements about your university. This is pretty easy as well. You had the three forms there. You just needed the correct one. Los estudiantes asisten. Of course, it's got to be, it's plural. La profesora de computación responde. Yo leo novelas a veces. Mis compañeros y yo corremos en la playa, and so on. All right, then another listening with a drop-down menu. Listen to the following statements and decide who does the activities based on the verb forms. All right, so we have los estudiantes, tú, nosotros, yo, and la profesora. And of course, in Spanish, you can tell by the verb what the subject is. And so, let's listen to the first one.
Leo libros de literatura española.
Leo libros de literatura española. So leo, of course, it ends in an O, so it's got to be yo leo The verbs ending in O are the yo form, the I form. I read books.
Vemos la televisión juntos.
Vemos la televisión juntos, that's nosotros. Verbs ending in emos, amos, or imos are always the we, nosotros, and so on. So that's the good thing about the verbs in Spanish, is that you can always tell what the action is and who's doing it just by the verb form, unlike in English. Okay, and then this next one was also very simple. Just match up the subject with the verb. And so, for example, mis compañeros estudian or mis compañeros practican español. Either of those would work. Esther y yo, anytime you see y yo, that's the same as nosotros, we. So Esther and I is the same as we. So of course we're going to need tomamos. That's the only we form on the list here. Esther y yo tomamos apuntes. Tomás y Aaron estudian o practican español. Either one works. La profesora habla con los estudiantes is the most logical one. Yo busco una palabra en el diccionario. Busco is the only yo form verb there in the know, so it's got to be that one. Yo busco una palabra en el diccionario. I look for a word in the dictionary. And usted escucha la conversación. That's the one there. So, okay, but not too many problems on that section. Okay, and next page. We did that one. Okay, this one was challenging. Complete the following description of Roberto's daily routine in his email to his new friend Carlos with verbs from the list. Be sure to write the appropriate form of the verb, and you can only use each one once. All right. So, hola Carlos, tú trabajas en una oficina, ¿verdad? You work in an office, right? I attend the University of Salamanca. Every day something to the university at 9 in the morning. Well, I think llego is the best one. I arrive at and you can go by process of elimination, right? I study to the university, I listen to the university, I arrive to the university. Well, that's the most logical one, right? So if you know the vocabulary, and you can look that up, and then it's just a question of putting it in the right form, and here it's yo, it's got to be llego. Okay, en clase tomo apuntes. If you know, tomar apuntes is to take notes. That was one of our vocabulary words presented in the chapter, tomar apuntes. So that's definitely the most logical one. And after my classmate and Julian and I, something in the library, well, I think estudiamos is probably the best one. We can change it later if we need to, but that seems to be up the list here, the best one, and it's Julian y yo, so that's estudiamos. So at home, my roommates always something television. Well, I think the best one is miran. And it's miran because it's mis compañeros. And my friend Luisa, something music, escucha, is probably the best one. On the weekends, Luisa and I, something tenis, so practicamos, I think is the best option there. And mis compañeros montan en bicicleta. So montar en bicicleta, to ride a bike. So there are your forms and with the correct words and the correct forms. But that is challenging at first. You do have to work through it. I always recommend with dialogues and paragraphs that you read through the whole thing first before you start. I think you'll be much more successful and it'll be much less frustrating. Also, if you have a word bank, take a look at the word bank and see before you start filling it in. I think that would be the best strategy. All right. This one was pretty easy. Just use the correct definite article. El, la, los, or las. All right. So la mochila, los cuadernos, los bolígrafos, la clase, las 9 de la mañana. A lot of people got this one wrong, but with time, it's always las, right? A las 2, a las 3, a las 4, and so on, except for 1 o'clock. And that's a la una, and that's logical because it's just one. A la una, but then a las 2, a las 3, a las 9 in this case. So a lot of people missed that one. En el laboratorio con el profesor Martínez, luego tengo biología en el salón grande. Yeah, just memorize the salón, the room is masculine. La facultad de medicina, pero qué horror, ¿dónde está el gimnasio? All right, that was pretty easy there. Okay. And this one was similar, but it was the indefinite articles un, una, unos, or unas. So anyway, similar there, just fill in the right one. This is another fairly easy one, el, la, los, or las. Too many problems there. And then the verb estar, we got the whole verb introduced to us in this chapter. ¿Dónde estás tú? And he responds, estoy en el hospital. And he says, ¿estás bien? Are you all right? Mi mamá está mal. Carlos y yo estamos enfrente del hospital. Pretty easy. Another one with estar. ¿Cómo están ustedes? Right, ustedes, the plural you. ¿Cómo están ustedes en casa? Estamos bien. Nosotros estamos bien. ¿Y tú, abuela, cómo estás? And you, grandma, how are you? You're talking to the grandma here. And you, grandma, how are you? ¿Tú, abuela, cómo estás? Estoy bien, gracias. Fernanda. Está bien también. And don't forget your accent marks with estar. Está, están, estás. All have accent marks, so don't forget those. Otherwise, it's a different word and a different pronunciation as well. All right. And then for chico muy interesante. So listen to Liliana's questions about a boy she just met in the library and match them with her friend's answers. So we have a drop-down menu here. So anyway, phone number, Thursdays and Fridays, 5, behind the bookstore. Okay, so this should not be too bad if you look at the answers beforehand especially. So let's listen.
¿Quién es ese chico?
¿Quién es ese chico? Who is that boy, Ricardo?
¿Cómo es?
What's he like? Inteligente y dinámico.
¿Dónde vive?
Where do they live? Behind the bookstore? Maybe that's the best one.
¿Cuándo estudia en la biblioteca?
¿Cuándo estudia en la biblioteca? Los jueves y los viernes. That's the only thing that answers the question when. Right?
¿Qué estudia?
What does he study? Antropología.
¿Cuántas clases toma?
¿Cuántas clases toma? ¿Cuántas asks for a number? So there you go.
¿Cuál es su número de teléfono?
It's an odd question to ask, I think. Your best friend about her boyfriend. You want her boyfriend's number, but anyway, that would be the answer. Okay. This one was not too bad. We have multiple choice there, so not too much problem there, but it's practicing the interrogatives. The question words, quién, qué, cuánto, cuándo. Only about 10 of those words. You just need to commit those to memory. They're very, very useful and important in language learning. You'll hear these question words all the time, see them all the time. So just commit those 10 words to memory, and you'll make your life a lot easier as you take this class and other language classes, Spanish classes. All right, that's the end of the quiz. Again, let me know if you have any questions about what I covered here or what I did not cover, and I'll be happy to give you more feedback. Hasta luego.